Right, let's unpack this. We're diving deep today into, well, a pretty surprising figure taking aim at a huge financial issue in the US. We're talking about Elon Musk. And he seems to be on the warpath.
Yeah, not just against competitors this time.
Exactly. It's Washington, D.C.'s fiscal policy he's targeting. Specifically, this massive $5 trillion spending bill proposal.
Mm-hmm.
So our mission today is to explore Musk's, fiery online stuff, his direct threats to lawmakers, even his call for a whole new political party. We want to pull out the key insights for you.
And it's important right off the bat to get a sense of the scale here. This proposed bill, which the report links to the Trump administration, it's talking about adding a record $5 trillion to the U.S. debt ceiling.
$5 trillion.
It's staggering. To give you some perspective, that's like roughly 20% of the entire U.S. GDP in one go.
Wow.
Yeah, it would absolutely reshape the country's finances for, well, decades. And, technically raising the debt ceiling just lets the government pay for things already agreed upon.
Right. It's not new spending authorization itself.
Exactly. But Musk's anger, it seems pretty clearly aimed at the spending that makes these debt ceiling hikes necessary in the first place.
That certainly seems to be his angle. And he reacted fast when this proposal came out, didn't he? Called it insane spending.
Oh, immediately. And he went straight for what he calls the Washington Uniparty.
Right. From your perspective, what was the most striking part of that initial reaction?
Well, what's fascinating is how quickly he framed it. Not just as one bad bill, but as a systemic problem. He went on his platform, X, and just put it out there. It is obvious with the insane spending of this bill that we live in a one-party country, the Porky Pig Party.
The Porky Pig Party. That's vivid.
It is. It's obviously a satirical dig, right?
Yeah.
Implying lawmakers on both sides are just, gluttonous with taxpayer money. Doesn't matter if they're Democrat or Republican in his view here.
And he didn't just leave it at the name calling. He followed up, saying something like, our country needs an alternative so people actually have a voice.
Exactly. And this uniparty idea, it's really central to his whole argument here. It's powerful because it taps into this feeling a lot of people seem to have that, despite all the fighting talk, both parties end up agreeing on things like more spending.
Yeah, you hear that frustration a lot.
Definitely. And the insight here is how much that resonates with voters who feel maybe left out by the traditional parties, whichever one's in charge. And he backed it up, didn't he? The source mentions he retweeted a chart.
Ah, yes, the national debt chart.
Showing it just exploding under presidents from both parties, which, really hammers home his point about this perceived uniparty behavior.
Yeah.
Just pushes you to look past the usual political lines.
It's quite something to see someone with that kind of platform just wade in like that.
It really is. It shows the power, I think, of a single, very loud voice in today's digital world. Can shift the conversation instantly.
And he definitely shifted it. He didn't just diagnose the problem, he went on the attack. Use that Pinocchio meme.
Right, accusing lawmakers of being liars.
Said they campaigned on cutting spending, but then voted for, and this is his quote, the biggest debt ceiling increase in history.
Strong words.
And then he attached a threat, a pretty explicit one. He tweeted something like, anyone who promised reducing spending but votes for this will see their face on this poster in the primary next year.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Basically vowing to use his platform to go after incumbents. Said they should hang their heads in shame. That's taking aim at both sides.
That is a serious escalation. It's way beyond just tweeting an opinion. He's talking about using his influence, which is obviously massive, to directly affect elections.
Mm-hmm.
And this influence is interesting, too, given his, let's say, complex relationship with figures like Donald Trump.
Right. The report mentioned they've clashed over this bill, but also been seen together.
Exactly. They've had public spats about this very bill, yet they appear at events together. For a while, maybe it looked like Musk was softening on some things, but then as the Senate started looking at the bill, boom, he jumped back in full force.
So this specific issue, the fiscal stuff, seems really important to him.
It really suggests it's a major line in the sand for him, maybe more important than personal relationships or past political leanings. It hints that his stance here might cut across typical party lines, which could give his challenge, a wider appeal.
Okay, so if the diagnosis is insane spending from a Porky Pig Party, what's the cure, according to Musk? How radical is his proposed solution?
Oh, it's definitely radical. He didn't mince words. He called for a new political party that actually cares about the people.
A whole new party.
Yep. And he even put a kind of timeline on it. suggested an America Party could be formed literally the day after this bill passes, if it passes.
The day after, that's immediate.
It is. This isn't just commentary. It's a direct challenge to the two-party system that's basically defined American politics for, well, centuries. The real insight, I think, is that he's trying to take all that public frustration about spending, about feeling ignored, and actually channel it into a political movement. Weaponize it almost.
So let's recap. We've got Musk's really strong language, insane spending, the whole Porky Pig Party thing.
Right.
His direct challenge to what he calls the uniparty, and that very specific threat to primary lawmakers who vote for this debt ceiling increase he hates.
The biggest in history, as he put it.
Yeah. And then the big solution, if the bill passes, bam, create an America Party immediately. An alternative that he says would actually care about the people.
So if we try and connect this to the bigger picture, it really leaves you with a question, doesn't it? Given how complex U.S. fiscal policy is, and the fact that historically both parties have overseen big spending increases, like that debt chart Musk shared clearly shows, what does it actually mean for the whole system when someone this powerful, Elon Musk, basically declares war on how things are done and says, let's start a whole new party?
Yeah, that's the question.
Could a challenge like that, with all his influence behind it, really shake things up fundamentally? Or maybe does it just highlight these deeper problems, these entrenched issues with spending and politics that go way beyond just one person or one bill? Does it maybe point to a wider hunger in society for something different in politics? It's definitely something to think about.